Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the World Trade Organization and the International Trade Center, welcome to a space that we hope will be thought-provoking and encourage all of you to turn your ambition of furthering women's economic empowerment into concrete actions. My name is Javier Gutierrez. I'm a counselor in the Information and External Relations Division of the World Trade Organization and also a staunch supporter of gender equality. I will be guiding you throughout today's session, which we have named Breaking into Male-Dominated Sectors. I would also like to thank the UK Institute of Export and International Trade for their close collaboration in delivering this session. Before we begin, let me quickly give you some housekeeping points. The meeting is being live-streamed and will also be recorded and available in the WTO Public Forum webpage afterwards. Our session will have interactive components, and I encourage you to engage actively. Finally, help us continue the discussion online by posting your thoughts on social media and using #SheTrades and #WTO Public Forum. To begin, I would like to invite the WTO Director General, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, to deliver her opening remarks. Madam Director General, the lectern is yours.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's really nice to see how the hall is full, and there are quite a lot of men here. Can the men stand up? Let's give them a hand. Stand up, stand up. It's fantastic. I'm going off my speech now, but I just wanted to tell you that one of the things I strongly believe when you're talking about gender equality is that women should not just talk to themselves. If we are going to change things, we have to have the men in the room with us because they're part of the issue we want to do. They can be part of the solution. They're part of the problem, but they're also an important part of the solution. So having so many of them in the room is fantastic. And I want to thank them. You know, and sometimes I say that part of the solution is that the men have to stand aside so that the women can move. So, you know, it's good to have them with us. So with that, I'll go back to my prepared remarks, you know. And so good morning to all of you, and it's really delightful to have this session in the public forum, looking at how women can break into male-dominated sectors, as Javier said. So let me begin by highlighting a few women who've done justice. The first, C.J. Walker, was the first African-American female, a self-made millionaire. And back in 1906, she developed a line of hair and skincare products for black women. She went from selling products door to door to opening a factory and a research laboratory that allowed her to scale up and sell across the United States and the Caribbean. Madam C.J. Walker, who is very famous, passed 103 years ago. Much has changed for women since then, including in the cosmetics sector. But that sector remains an industry that caters mostly to women, but is run mostly by men. Most people think that the cosmetic sector is run by women. It's run by men, largely. So we have to break through that, too. Maria Curie is famous for her pioneering research on radioactivity, a woman of whom we are all very proud. This Polish-French scientist was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize when she won the prize for physics in 1903. 8 years later, she was awarded the prize for chemistry. Amazing. And she's the only woman to be a double Nobel laureate. I don't know how many people know this. This is a fantastic thing. She founded cancer research centers, which remain active today. She developed mobile X-ray services for field hospitals during World War I. And in essence, many of the things that she founded in research, she researched on, are still being used and developed in medicine today and helping to save lives. These women broke into male-dominated sectors a century ago. Many more women have put cracks in the glass ceiling since then, but we still haven't shattered it. We have cracks, but we haven't shattered it. The World Economic Forum estimates that at the current rate of progress, it will take 132 years to close the current gender gap and 151 years to close the economic participation and opportunity gender gap. This is unacceptable. As the Secretary General of the UN, Gutierrez, said, he doesn't want his grandchildren's grandchildren to be still faced with this problem. Globally, women make up only about 37% of the manufacturing sector. Only 57 countries of the 193 UN members has ever had a woman hold the highest political office with executive power. These numbers are coming from a book that I did with Julia Gillard called Women and Leadership, Real Lives, Real Lessons. And we interviewed 8 women leaders all over the world to see what issues they face, and we did some research. So these numbers are coming out of some of that. Only 13 countries have ever had more than one woman lead. In June 2019, only 6.6% of Fortune 500 CEOs were women, a milestone record at the time, but not good enough. In big data and AI, women are estimated to make up only 25% of the workforce. In engineering, only 15%, and so it is pretty remarkable when we have with us here one of the women who's running an engineering concern. And only 15% in cloud computing, just 12%. It's not only about what share of various industries women have. We also know that on the issue of wages, for every dollar a man makes, a woman earns 63 cents. So we are still far away from parity in the same jobs with respect to wage earnings. C.J. Walker used trade to build her fortune, and trade remains a tool to empower women. Trade can also propel entire economies forward. I often quote McKinsey's 2015 report that found that accelerating progress towards gender equality in all regional labor markets could add as much as $12 trillion to global annual GDP, rising to as much as $28 trillion in a fully equal world. Just think of those numbers. So how can we use trade as a tool to ensure that more women break into these male-dominated sectors? First, what I keep hearing from young women is that we need to invest in them, and we need to invest in trade. In the US, only 2.7% of venture capital funding goes to companies solely funded by women, and and 11.8% to mixed gender teams of founders. That is, only 2.7% of venture capital funding goes to companies solely founded by women, and 11.8% to mixed gender teams of founders. An ADB study also found that the rejection of trade finance requests for women-owned SMEs can be up to 70%. We need to scale up supply-side support to help women-owned businesses overcome barriers that keep them out of international markets. And that's why I'm so eager to hear the stories of the wonderful women we have on this panel who are going to tell us what their issues are for breaking into markets. How have they done it, and what more needs to be done? Because our research shows that women who trade internationally can make more than 2 times the annual earnings of women in the same sector who only trade locally. But women-owned businesses often lack financing to scale up and to trade. In this decade, we have to make a concerted effort to fix this so that more women-owned and women-led businesses can move them into global value chains. We also need to make trade policy itself more gender sensitive. We need active trade policies that ensure non-discrimination and focus on helping women access global value chains, especially in non-conventional areas. We already have one of these at the WTO. The Services Domestic Regulation Agreement recently signed has a clause prohibiting discrimination against women service providers. Members of our informal working group on trade and gender, the WTO, have been shining a spotlight on issues such as unequal access to trade finance and weak participation in public procurement. When women have the tools to compete and a policy playing field that supports their entry into value chains, they will break, not just crack, the glass ceiling. So these are some of the aspects we are working on at the WTO so that trade can be used as a tool for inclusion and empowerment. It's encouraging to find partners like both the ITC, and I'm sure Pamela will talk about the supply side tools that they use, as well as Mr. Marco Fogioni, Director General of the UK Institute of Export and International Trade, who are also working towards this goal. We can only do it with partnership. With partnership, we're stronger together, and we can deliver better for women. So I look forward to hearing from the rest of the panelists, and I hope we have active participation and questions from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Director General, for your reflections on the potential of women's economic empowerment, how it can change lives, and for shattering the glass ceiling in this organization. Now I would like to give the floor to the International Trade Center's Executive Director for her opening remarks. Madam, you have the floor.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Excellencies, esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. Marco Fergione, Secretary General of the UK Institute of Exports and International Trade. Thank you for your partnership on this very important bringing these women here to showcase what they do. I'd like to start by congratulating you, Dr. Ngozi, and thanking you and your team for this amazing WTO Public Forum. I think most of us have missed seeing people, and we've seen people this week. So thank you so much for this, and we're really excited about what it means for international trade. This panel is quite fitting in terms of this year's theme, centered on sustainable and inclusive recovery. I've always been an advocate of ensuring women are included at the table and have a voice. My formative years were shaped by a very strong, independent woman, my mother, and numerous enterprising women business owners in my community and in my family. Today, I'm proud to be one of 3 women leaders, along with Dr. Ngozi and Rebecca Greenspan, Secretary General of the UNCTAD, at the helm of the multilateral trading system in Geneva, what we call the Geneva Trade Hub. As also, and this is for the men, shaped by a very, very, what I'd call female empowering father, who never at any point said what we were supposed to do, where we were supposed to do it, and what we were supposed to study. And that's important, men. I just want to say that as well, that it's important that fathers also send the message that there are no boxes for their girls, and that anything and everything is possible at any point. I'm sure that if I had to ask them, we would all share similar experiences of gender biases. Dr. Ngozi, Dr. Greenspan, and others in this room. And these biases continue to impact women in negative ways everywhere. And this is especially true in a traditionally male-dominated sector. Now, I know that international trade is not part of the science STEM, but it is a predominantly male-dominated sector. Still is. And it's nice to see more women in the field, but it still is. So we're working on breaking that down, right, Dr. Ngozi? Yes. So until we can eliminate gender biases, how will we ever close the global gender gap? We're already way off the mark. The Global Gender Gap Report for 2022 estimates that it will take about 132 years to reach that milestone. If half of the global population is systematically excluded from participating equally in the economy, how are we to recover in a sustainable fashion? And if the other half continues to battle gender biases, How will we steer the ship towards greater inclusion? The most profitable sectors and industries across the world, which are in STEM fields like automotive, aerospace, manufacturing, finance, and agribusiness industries, are male-dominated. Women comprise only 32% of that workforce in emerging industries such as AI, data, and cloud computing. Imagine having more women, and women from developing countries, in software development and coding. This could mean new algorithms and solutions to address the problems affecting the global south. But first, we need role models for girls to look up to. And I'm pleased today that we have 3 outstanding women on our panel who have broken the glass ceiling in their respective areas. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Malika, Jessica, and Kohinoor. Oh, you had the name of the diamond, right? Thank you for taking the time to join us and share your stories. Young girls need to hear and learn from your experiences. As part of our Gender Moonshot, I'm committed to expanding our She Trades initiative to reach young girls so that we can begin to shape the future generation of women entrepreneurs. If we can successfully give girls the support they need to transition to high-growth, profitable sectors, this would be a significant win. And let me just give you a slight, I'm going off script, sorry, Shastra, but let me give you a slight example of how this, in very subtle ways, continues to reverberate. I was reading something recently that said that the fact that Alexa and Siri are both women voices continues to perpetuate the notion that women serve you. Never thought of that. Siri, get me this. Alexa, find me that. Yes, sir. No, sir. It continues to perpetuate the notion of female servitude. Perhaps we ought to think of that when we're looking at AI, when we're looking at STEM, when we're looking at all these other aspects, because it continues to perpetuate a message that we need to change at the very fundamental levels. But that's just off script. But first, secondly, we must treat women as equal partners in the agribusiness sector. FAO research shows that women make up 43% of the global agricultural labor force, yet they face discrimination when it comes to land and livestock ownership, equal pay, and access to credit. They play a crucial role in resource management and are agents of climate resilience. We're facing a food security crisis in many parts of the world today. Some studies show that agricultural yields would increase by almost 30% if women had the same access to resources as men. We need to ramp up efforts to boost women's technical expertise while increasing their access to land, finance, and machinery. Later today at session 99, I'll speak in greater detail about the power of gender-responsive public procurement. For now, I'd simply say that at the policy level, we have a lot of catching up to unlock procurement opportunities for women. Government procurement is still a male-dominated business, and we must change that. 1% of women access global procurement. Something is wrong with that, with government procurement, 1%. In closing, I'd like to encourage you to visit the She Trades exhibition, which is located just outside this council room and runs from the 28th to 30th of September. I must express my deepest gratitude to the UK Institute of Export and International Trade. We have 5 women entrepreneurs from Bangladesh, Rwanda, Mexico, and Uruguay to share with you their products, services, and of course, their inspiring entrepreneurial journeys. Please do visit their stands. And I look forward to meeting you at these events and wish you a very fruitful time and your questions at this WTO public forum. Thank you. Javier, over to you.
Director General, Executive Director, thank you very much for your words. We will now have to excuse the Director General and the Executive Director as they have to leave the room, but we will continue this conversation. And this is... Oh, I apologize. I misread the cues on stage. They are sitting down now to see the session. So before we begin, we're doing things a bit differently in this session. We're deviating from the standard format that public forum sessions follow. So we will begin now, and I would like to hear from all of you in the room and those of you that are following us online. In the screens at some point, hopefully soon, a QR code will pop up, or else you can go on menti.com. That's MENTI.com. And you can enter a code that is 36167652. There it is. Sorry. And we have a simple question that we would want you to answer. And the question, the results will be displayed live on the screens in the room. So please, I encourage all of you to do that. So now we're seeing what the audience is writing on. So just for information, the size of the word means that it is more mentioned than the rest. So we're seeing that finance and engineering are some of the biggest ones. So we're reaching close to 100 answers now, and that was quite quick. Thank you very much to everyone for engaging. And building up on this, Paul, let me ask you another question. Picture a pilot, the owner of a construction firm, or an astronaut. What comes to mind? Is it a man? Is it a woman? If you pictured a man, don't worry, you're not alone, and unfortunately, you're not entirely incorrect. The world's most profitable sectors are in the fields of STEM, automotive, aerospace, manufacturing, and finance. And to no one's surprise, these sectors are also largely dominated by men. In fact, less than 25% of women are contributing to these sectors. As we enter the third year of COVID-19, it is important to remember that while the pandemic disrupted trade and investment, and it also challenged our idea of normalcy, the effects that these disruptions had were particularly different amongst men and women. Studies have consistently shown that women and girls have been the most adversely affected. Women-owned and women-led enterprises also suffered great losses, since they tend to be smaller and operate in sectors most immediately impacted by COVID-19. As the world moves towards a post-pandemic era, we must work harder to ensure that recovery is gender equal. One way to make this happen is to ensure that more and more women participate in fast-growing, in profitable sectors, and successfully break into male-dominated sectors to truly unleash their economic potential and stay resilient in the face of the upcoming crisis. This, however, remains a challenge. Unconscious biases, societal norms, lack of exposure to these sectors, and access to finance are just some of the many push and pull factors holding women back from entering these sectors. It may seem like an uphill battle, but it is one that can be won. And today, we have amongst us 3 incredible women leaders that will share with us how they won this battle. They have defied the odds, broken the glass ceiling, and are opening paths for all women to walk on and make their own. On that note, I am proud to welcome our speakers for today. Our first speaker is Jessica Madrid Lugo. Jessica, a fellow Latin American, is the founder and CEO of Laser and Manufacturing. Her company performs state-of-the-art services in the automotive industry, such as laser cutting, water jet cutting, CNC machining, and the list goes on to terms that I don't quite understand or know how to pronounce. But Jessica, Welcome to the panel. The floor is yours, and please share with us your story.
Well, thank you, Javier, for the introduction. Imagine that you are going to start a business and that you have nothing. No credit, no customers for short term, no customers for long term, no business plan, no business model, you have nothing. Well, that is how I started. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Madrid. I am the founder and CEO of a company named Laser Manufacturing. I started this business 13 years ago when I was 22 years. I was just graduating from mechanical engineer, and I have almost just 1 year experience in my field, but still, I started. So I started by myself, and today I have a team of 60 people, which 70% of them are engineers and 30% of them are women in a field that is very difficult to find women to work on the manufacturing sector. So I do now laser cutting, as you mentioned, bending, water jet cutting, machining, welding, assembly, non-destructive testing for proving the weldings, and laser marking. But right now we are focusing on brackets for the aerospace and automotive industry, but we are also making parts for the renewable industries and metal mechanical industries as well. We also have 2 facilities in Querétaro, which is one of the main important cities in Mexico. We have around 2,000 square meters of equipment, of machinery, and we export around 30% of what we produce, mainly to United States. We have very high-profile customers right now, but we also have small and medium companies as customers because we really believe that we have to offer a very range products, and our manufacturing plant is very diversified, and this is what we mainly do. So as you can see, I am in a male-dominated sector. I am in a sector where there are almost everyone is a man, and everyone has gray hair. And back at the time when I started, I was both. I was a woman, and I am a woman, and I was very young. I'm still very young, but please don't make the numbers. I'm 35. So yes, it was very difficult. I have a lot of challenges to break. But right now, what I want to tell you is that I want to keep in mind 3 things that help me to be in this sector, and I think that it applies to different sectors. The first one is that get over it, and get over it very fast, no matter what happens to you and no matter what they tell you. And I have one example for this. When I was beginning my business, I went to this trade machinery show, a very big one in Mexico. And you will be surprised, but when I was at the floor, some salesman told me, "Come on, we don't sell bags in here." Bags in here like for bags. And then another year, I went again to another trade fair of machinery, and they told me like, "We don't sell equipment to people that doesn't know about equipment." And I was like, oh my God, I have, it's a workshop small, but I have machinery and I know what I'm doing. So what I did is like, okay, at that time, it kind of hurt, but would like to say to you is that you have to don't waste time on those words and just keep going. And what I realized from this is that I was going to be in a male-dominated sector. So I said, okay, I am a woman, and I am going to be recognized because of that, but not only because I am a woman, also because I know I have the technical skills that it takes. I am prepared for what I'm doing, and I have worked hard to be where I am. So I have to take that as an advantage and to know that they will recognize me because of that, but not because I am a woman. The next thing is that you have to know and realize why they are telling you, and analyze why they are telling you no to something. Sometimes it's not just because you're a woman. There's something more behind it. And what I mean with this is that I'm going to put you another example of this. And I also, when at the first years of my company, I wanted to work for this company, a big one. And I said, okay, I have the machinery, I have the equipment, I have the facility. It's a small one, but I have it. And I think I can deliver products to you. And they told me, no, Jessica, you can't. And I say, why? And they told me, because you don't have the certifications, you don't have your facility the way it should be, and you have to make a lot of improvements. And I said to myself, okay, you're right. You're telling me why you are not giving me the work. So I say like, okay, I have to do this and this and this. And and I say, okay, it was kind of like the chicken egg problem. Like, how am I gonna do this if I don't have job to do? So I don't have money. So how am I gonna be able to do this? But the thing is that you have to think out of the box and see what you can do. And what I found out is that at least in my government, in the local government, they were able to help me with the certifications. So I had to make my homework, I had to make my business plan, I had to organize everything, and they actually support me with 1% of that certification. And that is how I get my first certification. So there's actually plans for doing things. The second thing is that I look for mentoring because I knew that I didn't know everything. But I had the opportunity to raise my hands and ask for someone who had worked this path. So I received that mentoring. And I also look to get involved into accelerator programs. So I get into accelerator programs in different countries, in Germany and in Canada mainly, because of the aerospace industry is mainly in Canada. So that's what I found out, that I had to accomplish every single point they told me that I didn't accomplish at that time. So I came back years later again with them. I knock at the door, and guess what happened? No, they didn't give me the work again. But it didn't matter because many other doors were open. And this is something that I also want to share with you. Many doors will close just right in front of you, but that doesn't mean that other doors will close again. And once you find one that is open, you just go all the way in and you make it. And that is something that I really wanted to share with you. And the third thing is that you have to have a purpose. Don't do it just because of money. I think that money is important. I mean, we have to live with this, and it's a business, so you have to make money in order to pay your debts, in order to pay your workers. But it's not about money. In my case, I think I have this job because I enjoy it, I have fun doing it, and now I'm very good at it, so that's why I have work. But also because I think that I want to give something to my country. And to do that, I really liked the fact that I can give jobs and that I can give jobs to men and women that are in this field. So I'm really glad that I can do part of to make my country better. And I also have another purpose because I have child. So I want to share with them that you are everything you want to make, it is possible as long as you work hard. And I also want to share with them because that's what my parents told me, that they didn't tell me to do or to do not do things just because I was a woman. So I think that they really trained me very well to be able to manage my company. So those are mainly my main purposes. So, having been said that, yes, it's been a battle, a difficult battle. Every day I just woke up, I have a new challenge to overcome. But the truth is that I am here, I am a mom, I am a woman, I have a husband, but I am also a businesswoman, and I didn't have to choose, and I didn't have to drop any of it. So I'm here because I want to tell you that sometimes the barriers are just not outside, they are just inside of us. And at least in a country like mine, there are opportunities. We just have to look for them, to make our homework, and to really make them happen. It's not that they're telling you because you're a woman. So we have to really make a deep conscious work inside of us and see why we are not accomplishing what we want to, because sometimes the circumstances are there and we just have to make it. So for those who are right now hesitating in getting into different sectors or to opening a company, please do it. You will make it. You just have to work hard. Thank you very much.
Jessica, your grit and resilience are inspiring to us all. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Allow me now to invite our second speaker, Dr. Malika Medahi, Deputy Director for Accelerators and Technology from CERN, to share her experiences entering a working field where many women experience misconceptions and biases. I will not even dare list what she works on, because if I had problems looking at Jessica's bio, Dr. Medahi's is even more complicated. So please, Dr. Medahi, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, honorable assembly of quarks. All flavors of quarks, the fundamental building blocks of the universe, of you all, of me, of our surrounding. I'm Malika Medahi. I'm an accelerator, particle accelerator physicist. I work at CERN, the European Center for Particle Physics, and I'm currently Deputy Director of the Accelerators and Technology sector. Today, I'd like to walk you back in time, not all the way back to the Big Bang, only back 34 years ago, when I first entered CERN, and I arrived as a student, as a doctoral student, as a women doctoral student, and at that time, I was the first doctoral and first women doctoral student of the accelerator beam physics group. And I'd like today, I shared two personal experiences that illustrate the power of misconception, the power of unconscious biases affecting your working environment, affecting the way we all think, and affecting as well the way we interact with our colleagues. So here comes my first experience. 34 years ago, I entered the only male control center of the accelerators. So that's the place where we operate our accelerators. I entered the room and I met my first colleague. He looked at me, up and down, down and up, 2 quarks, and said, you're the new cleaning lady? Tu es la nouvelle femme de ménage, toi? First example. Second example. Do you have noticed that when we're attending meeting and we're frankly looking for somebody to write minutes, notes of the meeting, unconsciously the eyes are traveling the conference room and targeting women? Well, 34 years ago, when I arrived at CERN, I attended many meetings and I wrote many notes, many summary notes. But the anecdote here is that one very senior leader, male, one day came to me in a meeting and said, Malika, that's amazing. The last meeting, the minutes that you wrote on all these technical domains, all this hardware equipment, are just amazing. I understood something I haven't understood during the meeting. How can you do that as an administrative assistant? You missed your career. But you know, the positive things behind that was that at all these moments, all these anecdotes, there were always male colleagues strongly supporting me and reacting to these misbehaviors. So what could have helped me at that time breaking into this male-dominated sector? I think this is really what we probably have now and what we did put in place in many organizations, a correct, inclusive onboarding, and as well training of the personnel, highlighting the importance of diversity, highlighting that with no diversity there is no success. It's going straight to walls, saying that there are zero tolerance, and saying to newcomers, if you see deviation to these, report them, and there will be zero tolerance and sanctions. And as well at that time, I think yet 34 years ago, there was no vision of some of our leaders. They are here today to be role model, and we already heard that. That's super important. And at the same time, they should lead by example. I think I should myself always question. I should say, Malika, who are the people that are surrounding you at work? Who are your trusted advisor? How do you talk to women? Are you constantly interrupting them? Are you taking the time to very nicely and gently and simply explaining to them the complex subject? I think if we look back in time and if we look now at what else we could do, for me there are really three pillars. The first one is acting very young, so going to school age. And at CERN we're engaged in order to reach children, to reach kids. At elementary classes we have fantastic program called In the Skin of Scientists, and we get kids so excited when we do some games with them, scientific games. We also go beyond that because we have programs targeted to girls, women and girls of science and technology, Django girls, that the girls in ICT. We organize scholar guiding tours, so important as well. The second pillar to me, it's our working environment. Putting the equality, the diversity and the inclusion at the heart of all our activities. And at the same time, have actions. So nominate diversity and inclusion lead and have officer, D&I officer in huge organizations such as yours and ours. We need this officer arming the ground all the way to the top in order to make sure we do better. And we should have quantified goals. So at CERN we have a target, an inspirational target, which is to reach 25 women with particular attention to STEM by 2025. The second thing is that we have to document code of conduct and values. So every personnel entering and being hired is bound to follow these. And we have process in order to analyze deviation and sanction, clear sanction in case of. And I think the third pillar is really like you do have yourself observed that the new generation of colleagues have different expectations. So it's our responsibility to listen to them and to address their expectation. And this is important not only to attract them and work with them, but also to keep them. So it goes with the flexibility of professional arrangement, but all that has to be studied, has to be done, and together we'll go further. So if I look back at my extraordinary journey at CERN, 34 years, I was able to witness progress done. And today, and we discussed it already, today at CERN, the senior management roles are performed at 36% by women. But of course, we have a huge way to go. This is very clear. And let's take it as an opportunity in order to move forward all together. We know that diversity is a treasure. Without it, we're just dead. So it's our responsibility all together to improve the situation, to close this gender gap, in particular in STEM, and to embark diversity in all our activities. Thank you very much.
Dr. Bidahi, the quarks that make me, and everyone else in this room, thank you for sharing your inspiring journey with us. Our first two speakers spoke about their experiences in the automotive and STEM industries, but our third speaker operates in the textile and handicraft sector. Is her sector female or male dominated? Let's hear it from her own words. I now invite Ms. Kohinoor Yasmin, CEO of Tarango. She is here all the way from Bangladesh to tell us about her journey from a small business owner to an international exporter. Kohinoor, the floor is yours.
Shubho Shakal. Very good morning. This is Kohinoor Yasmin. My company name is Tarango. I am here all the way from Bangladesh. So, what kind of product I am producing? Actually, my company is a fair trade social enterprise, working with 100% women. They are specially marginalized group, 10 districts of Bangladesh, widow, divorced, single mother, very poor, disabled, and indigenous women. These are the women I'm working with them. They produce the nice product. What kind of product? Like my coat, it's a jute and silk, but not power loom. It's all handloom, handmade. My pant is a natural dye and jute, and my shoes also topper produced by our women. Why I tell this story? Right now, I am working with the more than 20,000 women, 100% home-based production. Think about it, why I do this? These are the women, they never went to school, very less education, but their two hands powerful than machine. How? All the natural dye, all the weaving, everything done by them. But they don't have any drawing, any written, nothing. I just say, okay, this kind of architectural design need to be. Immediate sit in the weaving machine with the two hands, trying. First time, maybe little problem. Then after feedback, again come, little more problem. Then final product. I feel so happy and so proud to see their talents. Never went to school, but they are doing 100% value-added product. So, why I go to jute and textile? In Bangladesh, our jute and textile sector fully dominated by male group. Female, very few percentage. So, I took the challenges. If the man can do, why not women, I can do. So, but journey is not easy. So much struggle I face. I don't want to share with you all my struggling, but little, and I will share all my success. How this kind of rural, indigenous, and women, they make my life easy. So, right now, they are working they are producing for me all the lifestyle and home decor product. That product I am exporting many countries. You will be very happy to know my products also going to white company, Harrods. Think about it. These women they don't went to school, but their product going to that big market, and no complaint about the quality. It's make me very happy. Actually, jute and textile sector mainly dominated by men, but now I am beside them. Why I choose this product? Because women produce nice things, but they are not getting enough money in their hands. Why? Because full sector dominated by male group, and they don't have access to the market. They don't have enough information about the market, about the product. So I am working with them. So many times people also ask me, Kohinur, why don't you go for the power loom? Then why don't you use electricity? Why don't you use the factory? I said, look, these women, they need to take care of their children, animal, and many other things. But if I bring them in the center or in the factory, they lose their family because their children will be suffer. So as a mom, me also suffer a lot. Like I am here, phone me, oh, where is this, what happened, all these things. So same, mom also facing as they face lot of difficulties. So that's why I choose the women as well as the home-based production. And no pollution, no color, no electricity, they are doing the product. So now I come to the banking sector. I face a lot of difficulties about the bank. What? When I go for the loan, actually it's not our problem. They cannot trust, they cannot rely. Women can do it. I face a lot of difficulties. I follow their checklist, what kind of material, information they needed, what kind of document needed. But end of the day, they said, no, we are not allowed to give you. We are sorry. Think about it. As a woman, how do I feel? Then I try to become more stronger. I said, show me what kind of message, what kind of document I did not show you. Show me. So that also work well. When I challenge them, argue with them, then they phone me half of the way, come. But one thing I want to share with you, our Prime Minister, very much women friendly, and she declared stimulus package for the women, financial. But our high official, they believe when the second tier, third tier, they are not gender responsive. They have a stereotype mindset up. Maybe women cannot do it. Maybe I will lose. So that's why they are not coming up. This is one. Mainly the attitudinal problem. Another things also I mentioned, how to overcome this situation. Now I am transfer women wages and their money through bank. Before always I give them cash. When they, end of the day, when they go to their home, husband always ask, okay, give me your money. Try to snatch all the monies. So now I make the bank account, their wages, their money directly goes to the bank. So that time I feel women, the husband love them very much. Okay, bring your money from the bank, like a motivational word. So this makes me very happy. Why I do this? These women, when they go to the bank, the banker asks for collateral. Though our Prime Minister make the rules, at least certain amount of money women can get loan without collateral. But banker is not follow. So before they purchase land for by the name the husband. Now, no more. I encourage them, please purchase land by your name. When you need money, you can go to the bank and you can ask loan. This kind of things also I do. Now I come to the other point. What I feel, they spend money for their children education and agriculture, and especially the girl child. Government also support for the girl child scholarship, but still women also need to send their girl child when they need to spend some money. That money also come to from this textile sector. So now, what is my opinion? Because I'm feeling very proud to come here. I never attend such kind of conference. I feel honored. And once upon a time I had tears because I feel so sad in terms of how come I came here to share my story with all of you. So that I feel honored. Now my opinion, UK Institute and the ITC CTEDs, and we all should work together. Like ITC, I got a lot of support from ITC to come and in the international trade show and my business expanding in the export market. This support, finance always not needed, need guideline, negotiation power, and some information for the capacity building. So this kind of support helped me a lot. I'm really grateful to CTEDs and ITC. Even Bangladesh now, many development partner is working. So all of them, even you all, we should together work for stand up beside us. Then we can stand and we can run the business. I feel if women together, we run the business, we can stand our own feet, it will be very good. Another one, quickly I just say, though time's up, and there is a huge, large company. At least they can support us at least 2% our product. We can supply, or 1%, it will be very helpful for us as a women entrepreneur. And also our country is also gender biasness and some kind of gender responsive related, like a capacity building support, our institute, it's a bank and different institute. It will be very helpful for us. They can help us. They can assist us. So I'm really grateful to all of you to give me a chance here. And why not? We all stand together, hold hand, and support the women. I see many results. The way women stand up their own feet, it's unbelievable. Let's go all together. We can support women, and they need to stand their own feet. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Kohinoor, for speaking from your heart and making such an impassioned appeal that will definitely rally everyone in this room towards the cause of female economic empowerment. Thank you to all of my panelists. And now I would like to hear from the audience. I would like to invite all of you to once again go on menti.com on your smartphones. That's menti.com. Oh, the screen popped up. And using the code, please ask questions to the panelists in the room. We will wait for a few minutes until you're able to log on your questions, and then we will have them on the screens. I see an interesting question, and I would actually like to ask this question to the three panelists. Should we be pushing women to create more, or should we focus on the role of women in systems change? So maybe, Jessica, maybe you can start.
I think we really have to focus on talent, not in women role or male role. We have to focus on talent. And I think that we really have to start by having the conversation based on this. And not because of the differences that we have, but because we are talented. That's something that I really think.
Thank you, Jessica. Dr. Medahi?
Yes, indeed. I think it's not a question of production. It's a question of clear responsibility, clear roles. So for whatever work to be done, there are teams to be formed, and a special look at gender diversity has then to be applied. Because it's demonstrated with no diversity, then it's going to be failing, or it's going to be done but poorly. So if we want to be good, excellent in what we're doing, reaching the best goal, and I'm talking as well in innovation, research and development, there is not a question of production, it's a question of achieving the best goal we can, moving forward to the future of the society. And there the key point is diversity.
Thank you, Dr. Medahi and Kohinoor, please.
So I'm also agree with Madhya. So don't need to divide the role. Like my case, you see, I'm in the textile sector. I'm the craft sector. The way male group is running or moving, I'm also doing same, but need some additional support. What kind of additional support? Like additional information, some OA, some capacity, because we are not born and brought up. Like I'm out of training, I don't have any information. So if we'll make the role divide, it will be very harmful for us. But we need support to follow the role, and we can do equally. In my case, what I'm doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the questions again on the screen, please? I see another one that caught my attention. Can each of the panelists outline their experience of the benefits that greater female engagement brings to their business and the economy? And I will add another one, to your community. So maybe, Dr. Medahi, we begin with you.
I think it comes in innovation and R&D. When we're around the table and we're brainstorming, this is where we see the fantastic power of diversity. The tendency for some of us to say nothing, to listen, to analyze, to scrutinize, and then to synthesize and come out at the end with a proposal. Other jumping, and I don't want to put gender into that, but if you look at that and what comes out of brainstorming session, this is really a demonstration of the power of diversity with respect, listening to each other, as I said, be patient, and arriving at the end to a fantastic proposal. So really, innovation and R&D are a clear example.
Thank you. Kohinoor.
Again, I must relate with our grassroots level women. Think about it. These are the women, they never went to the bank open the bank account. What I do, I open the bank account with the support of our colleague and staffs to individual bank account. So to make the money goes directly to bank, and she can at least save some money, she can take her own strategy and own decision. So this is one kind of innovation, demand-oriented. All can, educated women, they can save the money or they can keep the bank, but these women never can. So that way, I'm assisting them because I suffer a lot. All the learning, all the experience, I try to introduce with them and make their road a bit wider, easy life. Same, now, husband also ask them for the money. They take the decision whether they will give money or not. Or they can argue, look, I save this money for other purpose. That kind of strategy we need to take for the different target group, different women. Thank you.
Jessica, please. Can we have it back on the screens, please? I don't see it on the screen. Maybe it was a bit higher. Or maybe a bit lower. I think it was about the impact that women's participation was having in the economy, and then I added on, it was on businesses, the economy, and then I added the community. What benefits have you seen happen through that?
I think there are a lot of benefits. When you own your own money, you can take decisions, and this is very important. When you have your money, you can plan your things, and you don't have to rely on everyone else's choices. So this is something that we really have to encourage, and that makes us even stronger to have our own money and to be able to do our own plans and to work according to those plans.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions and answers. Thank you to my panelists for sharing your insights, your infectious enthusiasm, and your journeys that have not always been easy with us. I have certainly learned a lot and have gained a deeper appreciation of the distinct challenges that women face to enter in fields that are so male-dominated, like STEM, automation, or exports. Sectors that tend to be higher paying, but generally lack female representation. This fantastic panel, their journeys, and their successes despite the adversities they have faced showcases what can happen when women are supported to succeed. If we want to realize our goal of creating an inclusive and fair economy in the post-pandemic, the time is now. Women are part of the solution and must be included in the fast-growing, traditionally male-dominated sectors. I would also like to make an open call to all the men in this session. It is not only right that we support women as they break into male-dominated sectors, it is our responsibility to do so. The Director General said, move and let us break the glass ceilings. I would tweak it a bit and say, move and help women break the glass ceilings. Even though this panel has nearly come to a close, I urge you not to stop here. I will take this opportunity to invite you to check the exhibitions outside the council room. We will be showcasing the products and services offered by several women entrepreneurs from the ITC She Trades initiative. I encourage you to meet, have a chat with the women entrepreneurs, and continue spreading the message that we have all shared in this session. Finally, I would like to invite Mr. Marco Forgioni to deliver closing remarks. In January 2020, Marco was appointed the Director General of the UK Institute of Export and International Trade. Please. Since then, the charities team has expanded from a team of 12 to 120. Membership from 2,000 to 7,000, and with partnerships and programs that are delivered on every continent. Marco, I apologize for making you stand there, but please make your way to the lectern. Ladies and gentlemen, Marco.
Javier, thank you. Thank you for that generous introduction. Indeed, I'm Marco Forgioni. I'm the Director General of the Institute of Export and International Trade. Is that on? There we go. Thank you for the prompt. You see, proof that a man can do nothing without the support of a woman. So I'm Marco Forgione, I'm Director General of the Institute of Export and International Trade, and it's a genuine pleasure and a delight to be here sponsoring the women entrepreneurs for the She Trades who've got their exhibition stands in the lobby, and I do genuinely encourage you to go and spend time, look at the incredible products that they have, and hear in detail the journey that they've undertaken, the challenges that they've faced, not just because they are entrepreneurs, but because of their gender, and how they have so brilliantly overcome those challenges. It is clear that when you trade internationally, whatever your business, those businesses are more profitable, more innovative, employ more people, are more sustainable, and are more resilient. And we encourage every business to trade internationally. But if you are a woman trying to trade internationally, you face not just the challenges of being an entrepreneur, but as we've heard today, you face the challenges of access to finance, of facing the biases of the institutional system, of access to logistics, which is why the work that the WTO is doing under Dr. Ngozi, that the ITC is doing under Pamela, and UNCTAD under Rebecca, is so important, and why events like this here today are so essential. And the question, the ask, is what should men do? Javier, you're absolutely right. We don't stand aside. That would be to remove ourselves. We have to be partners in making sure that women are able to achieve all of their potential. Just think, we're here in 2022. We dream now not of going to the moon, but of going to Mars. And we've done all of that. We have telecommunications that link the entire globe in real time. And we've done all of that. We've done all of that while 50% of our society, of our community, have been excluded and prevented from reaching their potential. Just dream for a minute. Just dream of what this world could be if everybody, if everyone, no matter who they are or where they are from, is able to achieve their potential. There is nothing, there is no ambition too great that we cannot dream of. And the title of this event, Ambition to Action, it is time for us to stop dreaming, to stop imagining what that future can be. It's time for us to come together and start building that future. And I know practically the impact that having women freed to achieve their potential can have. You mentioned in your introduction that over the last 2.5 years, a period of time where we've had, in the UK as in the world, we've had COVID, we've had a global logistics meltdown, we're facing an institutional and global recession. We've also had Brexit in the UK, where we are redefining our trading relationship with the rest of the world. And despite all of that, we have grown from a team of 12 to a team of now 150, I'm glad to say. We are operating in every continent, delivering services, providing education and support on international trade. And the only reason that we've managed to achieve that incredible growth, we've grown 1,000%, 10 times larger today than we were 2.5 years ago. And we've only done that because we took the active decision to promote women into senior leadership roles, to help guide and drive the Institute forward, including, I'm delighted to have with me here today, my dear colleague, Professor Sangeeta Khurana, who is helping us lead these global initiatives and the integration promotion of women in trade. Please, put your hands together for Professor Sangeeta Khurana. So please, do take time to meet with these fantastic female entrepreneurs who are in the lobby. Do go and visit the stalls in the atrium because it's essential that we not only focus on equality of opportunity, but that we face the sustainability issues. And there are great companies like the Together Band, I'm wearing their bands, the official WTO one, and the Gender Equality Band. Please do go and have conversations with them. Dr. Ngozi, in her opening remarks, highlighted that it was in 1906 that C.J. Walker became the first female self-made millionaire in the US. In 2022, of the 2,668 billionaires in the world, only 328 of them are women. Folks, We haven't even begun the journey, but we have started it. There is much to do, and we will only achieve it. We can only do it if we come together and work as men and women to overcome the exclusion based on gender. Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to participate in this essential work. And the Institute of Export and International Trade is really honoured to be a partner with the WTO and with the ITC. Javier, thank you very much. Folks, it is time to move de l'ambition à l'action. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone for joining us, and I will echo Marco's invitation. Do get your together bands. I am wearing also gender equality. It's always been a passion of mine. Thank you so much. Enjoy the forum, and please carry on the message outside these doors. Thank you, everyone.